Toxic positivity culture is absolutely, positively, 100% trash. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite motivational dominatrix, and I got a word, I got a rant, I got a sermon, I got something on my heart to share with you today. So I hope you're prepared for that. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, first and foremost, my name is LadySpeech and I want to welcome you back to my channel. You could be absolutely, positively anywhere you are, somewhere in the world, and yet you are also here with me, sharing a little time, sharing a little space, and I appreciate that. So thank you for being here and showing up for this here video. If you're feeling this, and if you're feeling me, if you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you press that notifications bell so you can keep up with me and all of my shenanigans, so we can do this again and again and again anytime you press play. Now that I've done all of that, taking care of the house cleaning, if you will, y'all ready to have a little conversation? You ready to have a little conversation? It's a rant. It's a rant. Toxic positivity culture is trash, and in my humble opinion, it does more harm than good. Toxic positivity culture got a lot of folks out here not attending to their deep wounds and the deepest of their issues. Toxic positivity culture got folks out here not able to deal with their deep, dark demons, their deepest fear. And not only that, they're not able to handle the deepest, darkest fears or help their communities, their villages, or their family process. What is toxic positivity culture? Toxic positivity culture are people, are beliefs, are attitudes that support the idea that everything is sunny, nothing to see here. Keep focusing on the good things. You don't need to pay attention to the bad. Focusing on the bad or the not so good things are what bring them into your world. Have you ever heard people who act like that? Or who talk like that? Or have you ever read books who directed you in that way? You might, my friend, you might have come across a bit of toxic positivity culture. Now, some of you might be looking at this video going, didn't they just post an affirmation ASMR video? And you would be right. Some of you are watching this video talking about, but I met you doing affirmations. I met you being a motivational coach. I met you pouring in a good energy and positive vibes into people. And you may be right. You are right. You are actually, not maybe, you are right. Some of you may be watching this video talking about, what the hell is she talking about? Because what I know you for is positivity and upliftment and motivation and encouragement. And you wouldn't be wrong. You are absolutely right. I am all of those things. I am all of those things. 100% all of those things. I am a believer in utilizing affirmations, affirmative statements, quotes, song lyrics, parts of poems, self-help book, therapy. I am a believer in utilizing any and every resource that you got to attain happiness, to maintain happiness, to attain a healthy state of mind, and to maintain a healthy state of mind. I'm a believer in utilizing each and every resource you have, each and every tool that is accessible and available to you to uplift, encourage, and motivate yourself. Now, with that being said, I'm into all of that, but what I'm not into is avoiding the issues. What I'm not into is avoiding the deep work. What I'm not into, and what toxic positivity is really good at, is giving people outs, creating doorways so they don't have to confront the deep issues, so they don't have to look at the ugly work, so they don't have to come face to face with their fears or their demons. As a healer who has been in the game for more than 20 years, As a motivational speaker who has been in the game for more than 20 years, I can tell you from what I've seen is toxic positivity culture kills more folks and does more harm than good. It's okay to be positive. It's okay to focus on happiness. It's okay to focus on the good things in life. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But life, my friends, life is a collection of a lot of things. It's a collection of good things, bad things, harmful things. It's a collection of traumatic events and hurtful instances. It's a collection of magnificent moments and awesome hours and minutes and experiences. It is shadow and light, equal parts, equal parts. And if you do not deal with those equal parts, if you aren't processing those equal parts, if you aren't accepting and acknowledging of all parts that life comes with, you might be met with a few obstacles in your life that you have no idea how to process, how to move through, and how to deal with. Toxic positivity culture is absolutely 100% dangerous, okay? As someone who practices what I preach, as someone who has had a history with severe depression, anxiety, I'm a survivor of child rape, child molestation. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. I'm a survivor of mental and emotional abuse. I've survived a lot as a survivor of America, who I'm constantly inundated with having to deal with and having to survive anti-blackness, racism, fat phobia, homophobia. Life ain't no crystal stair. I believe that comes from a poem from Langston Hughes. Life, for me, ain't always a crystal stair. And if I am not willing to look with, deal with, and process the ugly things that have happened to me and around me, if I am not willing to look at things that are systematic, that are in place, that harm myself and other people, if I am not willing to deal with my shadow work and my shadow side, if I'm not willing to deal with my fears and confront my inner demons, if I'm not willing to do the shadow work, if I'm not willing to confront the problem, well, first off, admit there's a problematic aspect to me and then confront and heal the problematic aspect to me, I'm doing myself and my community and my village a grave disservice. Again, nothing wrong with therapy, nothing wrong with affirmations, nothing wrong with focusing your day-to-day energy on the things that make you happy, on the things that bring joy into your life. Joy is revolutionary, especially joy from anyone that is marginalized. Black joy is revolutionary. Queer joy is revolutionary. Brown joy, indigenous joy, femme joy is revolutionary. Trans joy is revolutionary. Nothing wrong with the engagement of pleasure. Nothing wrong in the pursuing of happiness. Nothing wrong with wanting your world to be made up of people and places and things that encourage you and uplift you and that keep you focused on a forward and upward trajectory. Nothing wrong with it, baby. Nothing wrong with it. But there is something wrong with avoiding your deep, deep inner demons and issues that come from trauma, that come from surviving or seeing some horrible things. You do yourself a disservice. You do yourself a disservice when we do not make room for the shadow emotions, for the mental health things, for the racism, homophobia, transphobic things. We do ourselves a disservice when we don't acknowledge the ugly in our lives. We do ourselves a disservice when we don't acknowledge how the boogeyman has come for us in our past and in some cases won. Positivity culture, toxic positivity culture does more harm than good. It does more harm than good. So how does one know if they've been negatively affected by toxic positivity culture? Let's talk about it. Do you find yourself avoiding the hard conversations, the hard work, running from confronting the deep, deep childhood issues that have been traumatizing you and plaguing you since before you can remember? If your answer is yes, then you might be negatively affected by toxic positivity culture. Are you someone who minimizes their pain? Who has minimized their trauma? Who has minimized their hurt and their devastation? Are you one of those people who says things like, well, I've been through things, but other people have been through far worse. Yes, I've been abused, but there's people out there who've been abused way worse than me. Yes, I've had problems, but there's people who had way more problems than me. And then after that statement, or before that statement, or during that statement, you will proceed to minimize your pain, your trauma, and your devastation. Well then, my love, you just may be someone who has been negatively affected by toxic positivity culture. So what can you do about it? Two things. Number one, the work. Number two, make space. What do I mean by that? Number one, the work. The work. Do the work. Do your work, your healing work, okay? This means you're gonna have to accept the things that have happened to you. You're gonna have to acknowledge the things that have happened to you. You're going to have to assign them the proper weight in your world that they should have. And then you process, you heal, you do the work around those issues. Number two, before you can do the work, you gotta make some space. You gotta make some space for the shadow attributes. You gotta make some space for the mental health issues. You gotta make some space for the emotional issues. You gotta acknowledge that the physical issues exist. You gotta acknowledge that the physical, emotional, spiritual, the intellectual issues exist. You gotta acknowledge the demons, the fears, the shadow things, the boogeymen in the back, in the corners, in the deepest recesses of our mind. We've got to make space for those things. We've got to make space for those things so that we can do the work and heal. All right. Again, this video is not me being anti-affirmation. This video is not me being anti-motivational coach. This video is not me being anti-positivity. This video was my rant talking about how I cannot stand and how I believe from the depths of my soul that toxic positivity culture is out here stealing more lives than we'd like to think, okay? This video is an encouragement for all of us. It's to tell you, if you are going through something, it's simply a human experience you're having. If you are experiencing some troubles, it's simply a human experience you are having. If you have gone through some pain, if you have gone through some trauma, it's simply a human experience you are having. Don't avoid it. Don't act like it didn't happen. Don't act like racism, transphobia, homophobia, all the phobias don't exist out here. Don't act like colonialism ain't out here messing up the world, okay? Be positive. Stay motivated. Uplift and encourage yourselves, everybody else, and one another. But do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Let's not pretend like the mental health illnesses and issues aren't there. Let's not pretend like the fears and the demons don't exist. Let's not pretend like we're not sometimes crazy. Let's not pretend like we aren't the problem sometimes. Let's accept our humanity and deal with ourselves accordingly. Thank you for listening to my rant. I appreciate you. If you're feeling this and if you're feeling me, if you like what I'm doing and if you like what you see, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with these shenanigans. Now, when you hit that notifications bell, you want to make sure you hit notify all, because sometimes I go live. Sometimes I drop a video at midnight. Sometimes it's 3 in the afternoon when I'm talking to you. Sometimes it's 2:42 and I've got a community post for you. So make sure you don't miss any of that by hitting the notifications for all. Now, I leave you to your day, your evening, your life, whenever you happen to see this video. Thank you for listening. If you made it to the end, gold star for you, my lovely, my lovely, my lovely. I appreciate you. Have the best day today. Mwah.